Hey everyone, Joey here, and I hope that you guys are having a fantastic Thursday night before Memorial Day weekend. That's right, tomorrow starts the official holiday that we've been counting down since was it Columbus Day when Manors Pier is closed, last October, or for those who came down Labor Day, since Labor Day. I want to go ahead and thank you guys for our live stream here. I will say it's a nice little short 101, that way we could just talk to each other about all the new and exciting things coming to Manors Piers this off season that already happened, that is coming for this season. Now I want to thank you guys. We're going to wait till the channel builds up a little bit. Now, are you guys getting ready to come down? Are you guys packed? You guys ready to go right after work? Let me know in the comment section, as I'm trying to fix the light over here. There we go. Just hello to everyone. Hey Ashley, hey Sean, hey Vaughn, hey Paul. How's everyone doing today? Savage is what's good. Are you guys all ready for the summer of 2019? I mean, this weekend is the unofficial start of summer, which, I mean, let's just be honest. It's the start of summer for us down here in Wildwood. Now, I normally don't do, live streams like this. Normally we're either on location, but I figured with so many different things going on this weekend and this summer, I figured we can answer some of your guys' questions, and then most importantly, just kind of go through a few things. So, hey Logan, how are you? Hey hey, we have two different Laurens, Lauren M and Lauren S. How you doing? Hey Philip. I guess the main reason why we are doing today's live stream is, I guess we'll talk about everything new that's on the Wildwood Boardwalk, and then we'll go through and talk about everything new that's taking place at Manors Piers. So if you guys have any questions along the way, you can throw them in the comment section, and then I can go ahead and answer them. Now, there is a slight delay. So if I'm talking about something, it might bounce back a little bit. I do apologize about that. But I can go back and go ahead and fix that out. But looking at your comments so far, hey Randy, hey Donna, hey Ashley, hey Nemo. I like that. It's pretty cool. Hey Logan. So let's go ahead and just get right into it. To get started, we're going to talk about all the new things that are coming to, I guess, the entire Wildwoods on the boardwalk. To start things off, I know we talked a lot about Little Nicky's so far. It has not been rented out. I know this weekend would have been a big weekend for whoever wanted to go in there to get rented out. We did do a tour of the entire building. The gentleman who owns it now, Jim, nice guy, literally just bought it 3 weeks ago, so hasn't had time to really do much of a search. Just kind of hoping that my video would help him, I guess, find someone to rent out Little Nicky's or Pompeo's. But hey, it is what it is. They have plenty of time. Then from there, we have Steak 'em Up, which is like a steak and kind of pizza joint at the same time. They're originally from Philadelphia, started by Mike Lane. He decided to take over. If you remember, that was for a while there. That place was a couple different things. It was a pizza shop, then it became a bakery, then it became kind of like a waffle ice cream kind of place. So I'm kind of happy for those guys. They did put together a really, really, really funny commercial. If you jump on Steak 'em Up on YouTube, they put a really funny commercial, so you can check them out. As we continue down on the boardwalk, I mean, I know Seaport Village, I keep wanting to say Pier. Seaport Village has gone ahead and did a few different, what can we say here? Seaport Pier, I'm sorry, keep saying it backwards. I know they changed something. I'm actually going to do, on Monday, we're going to do a video over there to kind of talk about different changes they've made to the menu and different changes that they've made to the nightlife. So should be some changes there. If we continue down, we have Sportland Pier, which I'm not even sure people are calling it Sportland Pier anymore, because they don't even call the go-karts Sportland go-karts. But they did retrack some of their go-karts, which is fantastic. As far as I can see, at least what they've done for up until now, is that they only retract the left-hand side of the pier. I'm not sure if they're going to redo the entire pier. But what I always found interesting was, if you remember back in 2004, they extended that pier more, and they never did anything with it. So I wish that one day they can add rides on there. What do you guys think? You think you should add rides in Sportland Pier one day? Now remember, it's not owned by Manors, it's owned by a different company. So they'd be Manors' competitor. But going through everyone's comments real quick. Okay. What is the new roller coaster, small or big? We'll actually get to the roller coaster very shortly. Phyllis says, where do we get one of these shirts? Funny enough, these shirts are not for sale. I wish I could sell them. I made this kind of just something for me to wear. I guess just to give you like a view of what they are. I actually wound up redrawing all of these logos, and it took me a while. They're all based off of a 1995 brochure from Maurice Piers. So this is the original logo for the Great White, the original logo for the Flitzer, of course, the Condor. One of the sea serpent has many different logos. This is one of the original. You have the Great Nor'easter's original logo. Let's see what else we have in here. Here's a Flitzer, another logo, another Great White logo. So yeah, unfortunately they're not for sale. I really would like Maurice Piers to buy the design and sell them on the pier. That would be great. I know they did start do some throwback T-shirts this year. If you go underneath of Kong, they have some Flitzer T-shirts, which are pretty cool. And then if you go to Manors Landing, they do have Sea Serpent logo on different T-shirts, and I think maybe a hat. But anyway, let's jump into what's new here down the shore. Now, if we continue down the pier, we go ahead, and of course, first thing we're going to hit is Surfside Pier. We did a whole, we've been covering Surfside Pier and all the changes for, what, since October. We knew last October a lot of the changes. Actually, what's really funny, on the desktop of my computer, and at the end of October last year, I was kind of told what was going to happen. And I wrote it all down, sort of like a, hey, here's what's new for Maurice Piers in 2019. And slowly but steadily, I've been going down the list maybe every few weeks of like, all right, did they do that yet? Because I never want to announce anything until they actually do it, because plans change. Let's be honest, things happen. So it was funny, last night when I was writing the article, the one with the video I put this morning, I was like, wow, everything that they said was going to change, they changed and then did more to it. So to start off with Surfside Pier, a lot of changes. This is, I said in my earlier video, this is the most change I've seen on this pier ever. Ever since they got rid of the Condor and threw Flitzer on the side, and this was the most change I think they've ever done. So to get things started, of course, they got rid of the Flitzer. I know. It was your first ride. It was my first ride. It was probably your parents' first ride. But we had a really great farewell ceremony last year. We got to see some of you guys. Thanks for coming out. That was kind of cool. And we were promised a brand new family coaster. Now, we were the first ones to actually break the runaway tram. It just so happens that when you signed up for their Christmas sale, because I got my season passes the first day it went off, they showed you pictures of it. So it was a really nice kind of like random, like, oh my god, I can't believe they're showing us this. Now, in order to put that new coaster on there, as you can see from the photos that we put online, it's a big coaster. Big as in, not like crazy drops and all, but more length-wise, which means it's going to take up a lot of space. So in order to do that, they had to move around the entire pier, starting very, very early on in October. Underneath of where the Flitzer was, for those who don't know, after they ripped out the Flitzer, underneath of it used to be go-karts, which they closed 2 years ago. So in order to get ready for the new coaster, they had to start underneath the pier. So they wound up ripping down the Flitzer and then going under the pier and ripping out the entire, used to be a whole track under there. The concrete work, all the different kinds of supports, they ripped out a lot of tires, because there used to be tires around the entire thing. So if you bounce in it, you bounce off. So they ripped that out. Then they started moving rides. They had moved the convoy got moved back to where the Wacky Whip is. The Wacky Whip got put next to Cygnus. They took down the train. They took down the Happy Feet. They took down the teacups to find out that they actually moved the Happy Feet to where the teacups were, and the teacups aren't coming back. But the train will come back once they're done with Runaway Tram, just because they had to put up a big fence line, just so that, everyone's the farthest away from the construction area, the better. So once that's put away, they can put the train back on. Of course, they moved the doo-wopper to where the basketball game was, which, for those who don't know, did you know that the first aid station used to be over there too? So they had to move that, and they moved that in front of the bathrooms, in front of the G&E entrance, or the Great Nor'easter entrance. Then they pushed back Dante's, because if they had put the doo-wopper right where they wanted it, the entrance would have been right into Dante's. So they had to push back Dante's, which means they had to push and move around all the entrances for all the employees, because in the back were the trailers. So they actually had to move that to somewhere else. The rock and roll, they did nothing with. As far as I know, no upgrades, which I was really surprised, because with it, they did an entire refurb on the entire ride. I mean, we were following it the entire year, and watching them rip everything apart was almost, we were actually questioning what they were doing with the ride, because I was like, wait a minute, they can't get rid of it, because the foundation for it, for those who don't know, it's not just a concrete structure underneath of it. They had to build an entire area because that floor drops down, so they had to make it a restricted area. So there's a lot of work that goes into just it. So we were kind of confused when they kind of started ripping it apart. But, we come back to find out it was painted. They redid the motors. They added new gondola. Well, it's the same gondola, it's just painted. Then they added the new lighting package, which we did a whole video about. And the lighting package is insane. Just to kind of compare for you, I'm going to turn my light all the way down. So this is what it used to look like, and now it's like this crazy bright. And what's really cool for me is because I remember when it debuted, you got to remember, I worked at Manors Pier for 7 years. So I was on the pier the night that they flipped on the switch. I forget what year that was. Is that 2011 or 2012? And so, I've been with that ride since it came here in a big container ship, which is actually pretty cool. It came in a container ship, came in this big container that they took it out of and folded it. It was really, really cool to watch and see them build it. So it's kind of cool to see, once again, see it ripped apart and put back together with the new lighting package. Now, on Surfside Pier, the only other changes that I can really think of is that at the very front of the game section, they added a new wheel. It's actually pretty state-of-the-art. I know a lot of the game managers went over to Stockholm to see how they do things, how they look at the rides, how they do their games, their food, just to kind of get ideas for their piers. So I know they redid the one front game, but that's really it for Surfside Pier. Do you guys have any questions so far? Once again, it is delayed, so I do apologize if you ask a question and it kind of gets kind of left behind. Let me scroll down for a second here. Okay. Services, I think so. Guys talk about Max, that's awesome. To draw, very nice. Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate it. Brian asking the same thing. Where do you get your shirt at? Once again, I feel bad. The shirt's not for sale. It's a shame. You got to remember that these are all logos of Manors Piers. It's a copyright thing. So I unfortunately can't sell them. I just made one as a fan one just for myself. But yeah, I pretty much drew them all from scratch from their design and then blew them up on a t-shirt. So yeah. Alright, so back to it. The next thing on our list, right in front of Hunt's Pier, the old-time photos of Wildwood made their movement from the Wildwood Boardwalk Mall all the way over. And what's interesting is, they added 2 new sets, which is great. But what I found interesting is that instead of the Boardwalk Mall finding someone to put in there, it turns out I think they just created their own old-time photos. So there's still another old-time photos in the Wildwood Mall, but it's not the same one that's been there. The one that moved has been on the boardwalk, if I remember correctly. He was telling me, I think it was 44 years. So it's kind of cool to see them go ahead and make that big move. Now, I do have to say that with their big move, they sent me photos of their sets. It's actually, I didn't realize how much work goes into owning an old-time photos. But yes, it is in front of Captain Jack's. Sean Gallagher says to me, was I able? I'm sorry, I didn't have coffee today yet. I'm going to my Curly Fries cup here. Sean wants to know, did I ever get a tour inside the old Stardust before they start knocking it down? It's actually interesting that you actually bring that up. I was filming the Diamond Crest pool, and the management team came out, who actually own that one and 4 other hotels on the island. And it just so happens that they're the ones building the new motel/hotels, the choice ones, right there on Skellinger. And so I gave them my business card, and I told them, I said, I already did a tour of Collins, a.k.a. Neil's, and I'm very interested in doing one in the Stardust. Now, I will tell you, there has been no plans put together. There's been no designs for hotels yet. There has been no zoning approval. Oh, 1 second. My cat feeder is going to go off. Yeah, it's me talking. But long story short, there is really nothing to update or even do a deconstruction video yet. I don't think those buildings are going to go anywhere at least until November or October. I mean, you don't want to start knocking down buildings now. But there is going to be 2 hotels there once it's all said and done. I think they're trying to work with the Hurricane, which is that club on that block, to see if they can buy that building and maybe there put a hotel in the front and one on the side. But there's a lot that goes into it. It's not like an easy, like, hey, let's put a hotel kind of thing. Anyway, so let's go ahead and continue our tour. But first we have John says, my son Jack wants to know why the go-karts aren't included in the season pass. Also, have you ridden the new helicopters? Well, John, believe it or not, back until 2007 was the last year where you got to do 2 go-kart rides with your wristband. After that, of course, the economy dropped. Gas prices, remember, 2009, gas prices at the Jersey Shore, the most I paid was $4.02 a gallon. And Maurice Pier obviously could not afford to give out that many amount of rides on go-karts. So they had to scale that back to just ticket-based. Now, with that being said, gas prices didn't get better until about maybe 2-3 years ago. And I just think that maybe they just haven't lowered the price. And slowly, if you notice, they've been getting rid of them. Because 2 years ago, they got rid of the one on Surfside Pier. Last year, they got rid of the one on Manors Landing. And now we're just left with the one on Adventure Pier. Now, granted, there are still 2 other spots you could do the go-karts in the back of what used to be Casino Pier. I guess that's Casino Pier at that point, right? I don't know, it's really not named for it. Which is behind Splash Zone. And then, of course, Portland Pier. Portland Pier, once again. Who knows what the real name is? Daniela says, any update on the La Voyager Motel? I actually filmed an entire video. And this is a true story. I filmed an entire video. Actually, let me see if I can pull it up in here. I filmed a whole video about it. And as I was about to go ahead and... No, I didn't put the drone video on my phone. On my computer. As I was about to go ahead and do a video of it and upload it, because it was like maybe 4 days after I actually filmed it, just because we had so many breaking news things, I just didn't have enough time to do it. By the time it was ready to upload the video, they added a mess load to it, so the video would look really kind of outdated. So it was almost like no point of doing it. But when I'm down there this weekend, in that area, this weekend, I'll be glad to go ahead and grab some pictures. Once again, if I had my drone's over there. But we could have gone through some of that stuff with you guys. But we'll do that after Memorial Day weekend. Okay, what is going on my computer? Okay. Logan said, are you going to be the July 11th through the 17th? I'll be honest with you, I'm down there majority of the weekends. You got to remember that I work in radio, so radio has, unfortunately, has to have a, what do you say here? A priority over regular work. But anyway, so I hope that answered your question, John and Daniela. Let's go ahead and jump back into our changes to Wildwood. So we already got through old-time photos. Now, the next thing on our list, I would say, is Douglas. But you guys get lucky when you get me on a live stream, because you get all the skinny before everyone else. Plus, because we're halfway through it, they probably won't see this until later on. I was talking to Randy today. True story. I'm so happy for Randy. He's doing something big tomorrow. If you go to where Bazooka Blasters were, there's something different there. Now, funny enough, he hasn't told me what it is. I was going to plan to go down tomorrow, but to go to that part of the boardwalk, but I have to be in Atlantic City to do a live remote for, once again, radio. And once I'm done, I'm going to get hit with the crazy traffic, so I'm not going to have time to film it. But if you go to Bazooka Blasters, or at least what used to be Bazooka Blasters, something else is going to be in its place. So definitely check that out. But we'll continue our tour all the way down. We have Douglas Fudge celebrating 100 years on the Wildwood Boardwalk. Can you believe that? Now, it being 100 years and Maurice Pierce doing 50 years, Douglas Fudge right now holds the throne as the oldest and long-established business on the Wildwood Boardwalk. Isn't that cool? Not many places can have that title. They're going to be doing limited edition candy, tins, and things like that. So check them out. Then we have BB or Baby, or I can't pronounce it. I feel so bad. These girls started this amazing women's clothing store. I haven't had a chance to check it out, but that's pretty much right next to Douglas. So kind of cool. Then we get to finally Wildwood Avenue, and there's so much work in that kind of like Manors Pier kind of area. You know, we have Shriver's taking over for for James Candies, which James Candies had went bankrupt back in November 18th. So it's interesting because it's a competitor to Douglas. And the more I think about it, I mean, you're talking about the two oldest candy factories in New Jersey. You're talking about Douglas and Shriver's a block and a half away from each other. So it's going to be kind of an interesting summer. Then we do have Harry's Corner being completely ripped out, cut down the middle. You've got Pops, Creamery, and Caramel Corn. And then you have Ralph's Hatch Throwing. So it's our second hatch throwing place on the boardwalk. Then I can tell you right now that the new ramp is not ready. If you go right on, that street always kind of confuses me. It's the connector right where the Maurice Pierce parking lot is, right by the go-karts and flat zone. That ramp is not ready to go yet. Hopefully they'll be ready by end of June. Then we're at Manors Landing, which for those who don't know yet, I mean, this is interesting to me. I worked there for so many years that for me, Manors Landing will always be Manors Landing, but they're kind of changing the name of it just so that we can kind of, I guess, let it be the same as the other ones. You know, you have Surfside Pier, Adventure Pier, and then Manors Landing. Well, Manors Landing is now going to be called Manors Pier, which, as someone brought up earlier, that original name of the pier was Marine Pier. So we're almost kind of getting closer to what the name used to be. Kind of interesting, right? Now, of course, by the way, it's going to take me a while to remember to say Manors Pier, but on Manors Pier, there's only really two big changes. They got rid of the Maelstrom, which we were there for. Really sad, and it looks really weird. There's a basketball game there. They will change it, I think, if I remember in the meeting, I think they said in 2 years, but you never know. If they don't like the way it looks this year, maybe next year. Who knows? Keep your fingers crossed. And then, of course, they got rid of the go-karts, which looks strange because you're walking back there and you're used to seeing steps. They get rid of the steps. So you walk over there and there's no steps and you're just like, huh? Where am I? Is this the back of Manors? But those are the two big changes. And then, of course, we did talk about they introduced a brand new beer, the Wildwooder. Yeah, try to say that 3 times fast. As I was writing my scripts, me and my wife were just like, can we say this 3 times fast? Wildwooder, Wildwooder, Wildwooder. Because it sounds like you're almost saying wild water. Because in South Jersey accent's water. So, wild water, wild water, wild water. I don't know. I thought it was funny. Now, the only other change on that pier is the fact that in Raging Waters, the kiddie area where the ship got repainted. Peter Billingsley is the main guy who does all the painting for Maurice. I love it. He always does a great job. I also know that he was repainting some of the mini golf stuff. Mini golf stuff over at the Starlux. So be prepared. There might be some changes over there that we haven't reported on yet. Once again, you're on a live stream. You get some facts you don't get anywhere else. Now, I do want to take 1 second. I want to thank you guys for joining me. If you haven't done so yet, please go ahead. Give this video a thumbs up. And, of course, comment in the comment section what you guys like so far for the season. But we're going to continue our tour. Now, there might be a few places that I leave out. I do apologize. Our boardwalk, almost 2 miles. A lot to cover. A lot to cover. So we're going to continue down from Manors Pier. I mean, at this point, there really isn't many changes between Manors Pier all the way over to Adventure Pier. You know, as I was actually walking it 2 days ago, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, it's weird because north of Manors Pier, there's been so many changes, but in between Manors and Adventure, not so many. And the only really big change they report on is that Beaver Tales, of course, is gone. And they introduced another Hatchet game, which is actually, believe it or not, that's the first one that was released on the Boardwalk. That one's been busy for a while now. Now, I mean, I kind of can't wait to watch people throw hatchets at a wall. I don't know. I find it interesting. Just like it's fun to watch people play basketball. I suck at it. I can never do it, but it's funny to watch them lose. That's so mean, but so true. Now, besides that, those are the only changes that are really taking place on the Wildwood Boardwalk this year. Now, there are a few other little things here and there. We do have, of course, the Maurice Pier's promo car for the Runaway Tram, which is really cool. They also introduced a brand new song, so if you go back to our video, What's New at Maurice Pier's, you can listen to like maybe a 10-second clip of the song. I've been looking for it. I can't find it anywhere, but next time I see the promo car, I will record it for you guys and put it online. Then they have a new connector underneath the pier right at 24th Street as you're walking underneath. Actually, I take it back, 25th Street. Yeah, 25th Street, right where Surfside Pier, left-hand side, the north side of Surfside Pier. They add a new concrete connector underneath the bathroom onto the beach so you can get to the beach easier. And that's pretty much it. I know they've been working on sections of the boardwalk. They add a new ramp by where Dunkin' Donuts is. So little by little, poco to poco, they are changing some things in the boardwalk. So that's everything that's new. What do you guys think? Is there anything that you wish would have stayed the same? Any differences? Anything that you would have changed? I mean, I like all the changes so far. Got to get used to Surfside Pier. It's going to be a while until we see Runaway Tram actually running away. They're looking for late June, early July. So, yeah, it's going to be a while. So, if you guys have any questions, write them in the comment section. And if you haven't done so yet, please go ahead, subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, and then like this video. Liking the video, believe it or not, actually helps out the channel somehow with the algorithm through YouTube. But, all right, here we go with some questions. All right. Web Gaming Production says Adventure Pier should get a makeover. I agree. I mean, I do like that grudge kind of feel that they're going for. I know Maurice Pier is always one of their piers to be tacky. And I have to admit, out of all of them, Adventure Pier is the tackiest of all of them. So they're doing a good job with it. They just need, I feel they need more attractions, at least on that pier. Because I think we're only down to 3. Am I right on that one? I could be wrong. Because you have the go-karts, you have the maze, and then you have the Great White. And then I think everything else is pay-as-you-go. So, yeah. Sarah says, my family's been going about 60 years as well. We stay in the same rooms every year. Miss Sportman says, I hope the Runaway Tram is there when I go. Late June, early July. So I would keep telling everyone, I'm hoping that July 4th it'll all be ready to go. Okay. Sean says, I would love if the old Hunts Pier would become a vintage pier with classic rides, classic arcades, and the return of Dracula's Castle. I think it would be a major hit. I agree. Big time agree. I find it interesting that they wound up not being able to afford to redo the Golden Nugget, which is another ride I'm working on for our Wildwood History Ride videos, or Wildwood's famous rides, because they, for those who don't know, another park, Knoebels, bought the track and rebuilt it at their park and did a brand new theme to it, and it's really fun. So we'll do a video about that down the line. Logan wants to know, any updates on McDonald's? McDonald's will not be open this weekend, unfortunately. But I will have to say what's pretty cool is that this building is so much bigger than I thought it would be. And they added in the windows, they're starting to paint, they're finally adding in the kitchen supplies. There was a truck the other day loading things in, so it was kind of weird. But I'm thinking, I mean, we're looking at the end of June for a lot of these things. Okay, no problem, Sarah. Logan says Adventure Pier should get a water ride. That would be kind of cool, like a bumper boat kind of thing. For those who don't know, Surfside Pier, when it was Maurice Pier, used to have bumper boats on the left front hand side, where I guess Kang is now. And that was fun as a kid. Kind of missed that. Miss Mormon says the Condor is at Hershey Park. Believe it or not, there's actually an interesting story about that. When Maurice Piers decided to get rid of the Condor, which it was going to cost... by the way, I'm doing... My next history video is on the Condor, so I've been doing a lot of research on it. When Maurice Pier was ready to get rid of the Condor, because it was going to be $1 million to either fix it, it would have been cheaper just to get a new ride, they reached out to Hershey Park. And they actually asked them, how did they maintain it? Because they wanted to see if they were doing anything wrong, which they weren't, by the way. It's just an old ride from '88. And then once they were ready to go ahead and rip it down, they said to Hershey Park, we have all these extra parts. Do you guys want them? So they shipped them a lot of different parts. So the original parts for Maurice Pier's Condor is at Hershey Park. And now Hershey Park's Condor version is actually called the Falcon, which I found out down the line there was 1 or 2 names you could have gotten for that ride in the beginning, which was the Condor and the Falcon. So it's those two for you. It's pretty cool. I missed a Condor too. Web Gaming wants to know, do I have any ideas for future changes or additions? I know the changes and the additions, so I'm not going to tell you. That's the bottom line right there. But I do miss the Condor. I wish we can get the second generation Condor. It's pretty cool. If you Google the Husk Condor G2, really cool. They have one that's like a lifeboat kind of one. It's interesting because 2 of the gondolas are like the normal lifeboats that go in a circle like the Condor would. And then the 2 other arms are like harnesses like you're on Atmosphere and you spin. I would love that. So I wish that they would do that and add that maybe to Adventure Pier. That would be my only thing that I would do. Sean says, I want to give you a major thanks for all the hard work into the site and videos. You put your whole heart and soul into it, and it's really greatly appreciated. These live streams are a good idea and cool to interact. Thank you, Sean. I really do appreciate it. Guys, I do this because this is fun for me. You know, I'm more of a I don't say Wildwood freak, but I'm more of a Wildwood freak than I should be. I love history, and I love Wildwood. Wildwood is always and forever going to be my town. So I would do whatever it takes to promote it. Even when I go up to New York for work, I tell everyone about Wildwood because for all they know, Wildwood doesn't exist. A lot of people have no idea what Wildwood is, and that kind of saddens me. So whenever I could talk about it, I do. Now, one of the morning shows I work for is Elvis Duran in the morning show, and Danielle, for those who watch the show or listen to the show, Danielle comes down to Wildwood a lot, and I talk to her about Wildwood all the time just because she loves Wildwood, and I'm just like, you gotta talk about it more. So every once in a while, she'll plug it on the radio, and it always makes me happy because I'm like, I did my part there. Or I'll do like a really cool article and reach out to the New York Times and New York Post and be like, hey, you want to use this? It's because, hey, Wildwood is unlike anywhere else in the world. It truly is. It's got more rides than Disney. It's tacky, which is a fun tacky. We have 5 miles of free beaches, sometimes 1 mile long, which actually, I don't think our beach has ever been a mile long. I think the most we were counted out was 900 feet, which is still really long. But still, Wildwood is unlike any place in the world. Wildwood's so famous, and Cape Mays are so famous that Disney have their own section of resorts named after them. So think about that for a second there. But here we go. Sportman, how's the new beer if you have tried it? The new beer debuted at the Woodstock. I did not go, so I didn't get to try it yet, and you can try it starting tomorrow at Joe's or at Jimbo's. What am I saying? Pardon me. What am I saying? At Jumbo's. Miss Portman says she talks about Wildwood all the time when she's in Florida. Sarah says she's a Wildwood freak too. I almost feel like I should make a shirt that says Wildwood freak. Oh, by the way, that's one more thing, and not to plug myself, but for those who don't know, I have a whole Teespring website where you can buy t-shirts like this, not this one, but I've got 30 or something t-shirts, mugs, hats, socks, you name it. So if you guys ever want to look at some of the gear I wind up wearing, if you go on my Teespring page and you just type in Wildwood Boardwalk, we have a mess load of stuff there. Now, if you are looking for our pins, actually, you guys may not even know, I sell Wildwood pins on the side. I actually design my own pins, and then from there, I sell them on Etsy. So if you ever want to see our Wildwood pin collection, you can go ahead and check that out on Etsy. And then from there, I'm doing Wildwood lanyards. Did you know there hasn't been a Wildwood lanyard? My keys on my lanyard broke, and I said to my wife, Julia, I said, I need a new lanyard, and I can't find one for Wildwood. It just doesn't exist. I mean, they have generic ones that are like Wildwood in white, and like that's it. Oh, okay, yeah, great. So I said I want to design one at high quality, and then sell them to you guys. So I designed it myself with the Wildwood W, and then a cool little design I put together, and hired a company to make them. So I'm hoping to have at least 100 of them up for sale. Well, 99 because I need one. The one thing you got to remember when I make these designs, I do them, not to say I don't do them for you guys, but I say to myself, well, what would I wear? I design it, I buy it for myself, and then I put it online. So, anyway, let's go ahead and read the comments. Logan, they need more piers down by the convention center where the boardwalk is really plain. I completely agree. Sean, I lived in Cali a couple years ago for a year. It was really disappointed with the boardwalk culture out there. Wildwood is truly the best in the world, in the whole country, on and off the boards. 100% agree. It is, there's unlike anything in the world. That's why Maurice Piers in the boardwalk has won the golden ticket multiple times, because there's no atmosphere in the world like it. Even Ocean City, that looks like our boardwalks like the same, theirs don't even compare because their piers aren't even on the beach. Bob Woodcat, are there any chance that the coaster that's supposed to be built a few years ago that would start on Surfside Pier and Bridge of the Hunts will be back or ever be built? No. I'll leave it there. No. The main reason why I'm saying no is because the way the blueprints were shown, the main entrance would have been where the doo-wopper is right now. Then the lift hill would have been up where Dante's and the rock and roll is, and the drop would be right where it is. They're not going to rip all that up. It's not going to happen. Then they built that coaster house on Hunts Pier to get ready for it. They had all the parts, and then they sold all the parts. So no, don't keep your hopes up. Sorry. Here we go. Donna says, I would buy that shirt, Wildwood Freak. Hey, if you guys have a cool design that says Wildwood Freak, I would do it. You let me know in the comment section or after the live stream. Jump on here and say, hey, here's an idea for you. I'll be glad to go ahead and do it. Don says, heard that Sam's Pizza sold that section of the beach between Second Piers to the Moy organization. Apparently that was the holdup. There was a lot of things that was the holdup. I don't want to get into it, but there was a lot of things that was the holdup. Logan says, Burger King on the boardwalk. Yes. Did you know, back through the 90s, right on the bottom right-hand side where I keep saying Jimbo's. Right on the right-hand side of the pier, there used to be a Burger King on the pier. Did you know that? It's weird, but a little weird fact for you. Sean says, any rumblings of a new theater somewhere in Wildwood? I wish. Especially with Frank's Theaters going bankrupt, I wish. I wish they didn't rip the one out in Cape May either. But what are you going to do about it? But anyway, guys, I'm going to go. Thank you so much once again for joining me. If you haven't done so yet, please like our channel, hit the notification bell, and give this video a thumbs up. You guys have been fantastic. And let's just say that this is going to be a great weekend. If you see me, make sure you say hello. And bottom line, I'll see you guys later. As always, I'm Joey. I'll see you guys on the beach. See ya!